Hey guys, so I'm going to do a quick video because I just finished a mediumship class that I teach, and I popped online to see what was going on in our group, and I saw that somebody had posted, Marissa, hi Marissa, I miss you, had posted about kind of feeling heavier energies right now and feeling more negativity and being weighed down and depression and things like that. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was we actually just talked about this in class, because a lot of what we do is kind of touch base with where we each are personally, but also what we're feeling spiritually. And it totally came up that everybody is sensing a lot. And what I wanted to share what came through. Basically, as I was tuning in and kind of checking in with my guides about this, because I'm experiencing it too, I wanted to say I'm definitely feeling kind of the heaviness, and there's a lot going on. This is a very complex time, I think, and part of it is the where we're at right now. Like, this is the fall, the veil is thinning. There's a lot of there's a lot more activity. There's a lot more spiritual activity happening right now. So that's a piece of it. But a lot of it, what came through really is about us being healers, which all of you are. We are tuning in, like the collective is getting heavier. There's a lot of stuff coming to the surfaces just ready to be, it has to go. You know, the political climate's a mess. Everything with Kavanaugh and the Me Too movement and all these really broken systemic things are coming out, and they're coming to a head. And so the image I was given was kind of like this heavy cloud of dark energy that represents like what the collective is feeling, kind of what society is feeling. Well, as healers, you guys know, like, we're all really sensitive, so we tune into that really, really easily. We tune into that. And then the problem is it kind of mirrors what's already going on within us. If we have wounds around, like the best example I can think of is the Kavanaugh stuff, and a majority of people in this group are women, and I think a lot of us have sexual trauma. We have a lot of history of abuse or any of, all kinds of inappropriate stuff that we had to deal with. So we're feeling the collective's pain around this, but it's also triggering our own wounds that maybe haven't been healed, and so then it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger within us, because we are built to hold the collective energy, but we're also, what was coming through very strongly in class was that we need to remember to channel it out. We have to remember to not hold it and let it get bigger and bigger and bigger and let it mirror our own stuff, and then that all builds up, and then we get all caught up in our own heavy energy and our own trauma, or our own negativity or depression, or however it manifests for you, anxiety. We have to keep consciously channeling it out. And the image they gave me, which was really beautiful, was that we're all kind of lightning rods as healers. So when the pressure builds and builds and builds collectively, with all this negative, icky energy, anger, pain, grief, like whatever's coming out collectively on a societal level, as that builds and builds and builds, we're needed to kind of tap some of that out, bring it through us and down into the earth. And so that this is a two-part process where partly we're serving mankind by helping like tap out stuff that maybe other people don't know how to process. We're kind of moving that through our system because we're built that way. But then the other part is for our own growth, because it really does, it will trigger our own stuff too. And like for me, I've been kind of in a slump the last 2 months, and I'm like, well, I know I'm prone to depression, but I haven't had it in a really long time, but I've just felt like just icky the last 2 months, and I couldn't figure out what it was about. But now that this all came through and we were talking about it in class, I realized that I think a lot of it was I'm like tuning into kind of the collective grossness right now, but it also is mirroring my own unhealed stuff, like my own tendency to be prone to depression. And when I feel depressed, it's because I feel out of control of my environment, my situation, whatever it is. And I think I'm specifically picking up how out of control everybody feels about this, all the icky stuff happening. Like, we don't have control over it in a lot of ways. And that can feel very helpless and hopeless and overwhelming. And so I think a lot of what I was feeling on a personal level is actually, I'm tuning into the collective stuff. So my responsibility, kind of what Spirit was telling us today, was my responsibility, all of our responsibility, is to first identify what's yours and what's not yours. And then second, take control of your stuff and really make sure you're still working on your wounds and you're really healing stuff out and being really self-aware, taking personal responsibility for it. And then also just for our own benefit, like, remember to channel and release as much as you can of the collective energy. Like, when you identify a bunch of this is not your ick, it's out there, it's somebody else's, or it's the collective's. really take good care of yourself with self-care. I know I always post in here about self-care, but it's so incredibly, vitally important for healers to be very self-aware and to keep channeling through what doesn't belong to them and just releasing it into the earth, releasing, because we're basically we're serving, you know, like we're helping the collective and society. We're serving in that way, but we're also kind of cleaning out our own stuff. That's really the most important, is to sit with what this is bringing up for you, and if it's mirroring kind of, you know, your own stuff that maybe you've been working on, but this is the next layer of it, or maybe you haven't been working on it, you know, that's kind of why we're built to tap into the collective wounds, because it's meant to help bring our stuff to the surface so we can clean out, so we can become bigger channels for them. Like, it's kind of this circular thing that I was shown today. So that's all I wanted to share. Very short video, but it was really interesting that and I have like 6 people in the class right now, and everyone was experiencing it in different ways, but it was the same kind of thing where they were feeling depression, they were feeling anxiety, they were feeling stress, negativity, blah, they were feeling just in a slump, or just like everybody was manifesting it differently. But when we kind of started to tune in, we realized that we were all picking up kind of bigger picture stuff, and we were holding it. We weren't aware that that's what we were doing. So a big message that came through was that we need to practice channeling it out. So you can do that in many, many ways. You can do it through meditation. You can do it through physical activity, exercise, art. I mean, anything that helps you kind of, that you can feel you're releasing your energy, or releasing energy that isn't for your highest good. It was a very strong message about self-care and self-awareness, like really being aware of what's yours and what's not yours, and then making sure that you heal your own wounds and then channel out what doesn't belong to you, because we're not meant to hold it. We're meant to kind of tune into it and bring it through, but we're also meant to like channel it out. Like we're supposed to be, like they said, lightning rods. So you don't want to hold it to the point where you explode because you're carrying way too much of everybody else's stuff. So anyway, I wanted to share because this applies to all of us. We're all healers, we're all empaths, and I think it's a really tricky time right now, and everybody's really feeling that in their own way. People are really, really feeling that. So just a gentle reminder for self-care, taking care of yourself, being really self-aware when you get kind of in the slumps or super anxious, or however it manifests personally for you. Just being able to be really super aware of like, okay, what's going on? Are these my wounds? Am I picking something else up? Is it both? Is it a combination? And kind of sorting through all of that, and then remembering to release and heal and give yourself lots of love and compassion. This is a tough time for healers right now. It really is. All my clients, all my friends, everybody's struggling. It's a rough time. But I think that's because we're at a lot of critical crisis points in society right now, and it's not an easy time. So give yourself lots of love, take good care of yourselves, and just remember we're all in it together. So feel free to post if you need to and ask questions, and we can post if you guys have ideas or like just self-care tips that really work for you, like spiritual self-care tips or whatever. You know, let's share. Let's talk about it, because we need to remember we're in it together. I think isolation is another huge negative point to this, and it's easy to kind of isolate when you feel that bad, but community is huge. In this time period, we need to remind each other that we're all together, we all are community, and we're all kind of doing this work together as light workers. So that's all. I just wanted to share that before I forgot. All right, I hope you guys are doing well, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye. Mwah.